Hey, Dandy Walker community. I'm Chris Rogers, the Executive Director of the Dandy Walker Alliance. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Anntonette Dennis. Antonette's daughter, Kerrington, had an unusual path to her Dandy Walker diagnosis. She wasn't diagnosed until she was nearly 11 years old. Now, 2 years later, she's thriving, and Antonette is dedicated to raising awareness about Dandy Walker so that more people can understand Carrington's story and her journey. Antonette, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today and share your family's journey with us.
Thank you for having me today, Chris. I sure do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more of your story and share it with the masses.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
Carrington had kind of an unusual path to her Dandy Walker diagnosis. Can you share a little bit about her early childhood and the doctor's initial conclusions?
Yes, I had Kerrington. I was 21 weeks. I had Kerrington. She weighed 1 pound, 2 ounces. Kind of automatically knew that she would have some complications, but I didn't know if they would be severe or anything. And when we left the hospital, it was just told that she would be delayed in a lot of things, but she would eventually catch up. So nothing from the hospital. And as she started to progress, get older, once she went to her pediatrician, and that's when the pediatrician informed me that she had developmental delay. And I've been informed that she had developmental delay. And honestly, Chris, I was in denial until Carrington started school at the age of 3 because she's my second child. And I was just like, I can't have a child with any type of condition that I don't know about. And like you said, it wasn't until about 2 years ago that I found out that she has Dandy Walker syndrome.
So, yeah, after years of uh, being in the dark, trying to understand what was going on with her, she finally got a Dandy Walker diagnosis a couple years ago, just before her
Hmm.
11th birthday.
Hmm.
Can you tell me how that diagnosis came about?
Yeah, the diagnosis came about because I switched her pediatrician from a male to a female because she's developing, and I wanted her to go to a female. And I was sitting at work, and the pediatrician sent over a fax, and on that fax it said condition Dandy Walker syndrome, and that is how I found out by switching pediatricians that Carrington has Dandy Walker syndrome.
And was the pediatrician just looking at an old MRI or was
Yeah,
it new
she
imaging?
yeah, she was looking at all of pretty much her past medical history and stuff and came to the conclusion that she has Dandy Walker.
And so, what was your reaction to that diagnosis, and what's been the most challenging part of the journey since then?
My reaction, Chris, I was at work and I started crying because it was an answer to prayers because I knew it was something that wasn't just developmental delay. Um, and I mean, she's just been thriving, and it's just a blessing and just trying to learn about the condition as well.
Yeah, in some ways must be a relief to, after all those years, know what's
Yes,
going on and
yes, it was.
yeah,
Yeah,
have an idea of what
yeah,
it is that she's dealing with, and you can kind of pave a roadmap ahead now.
yeah. I kind of enjoy now when I'm filling out her papers. I'm like, Dandy Walker.
Yeah, you can finally put a name to it.
Yes, yes.
Well, it sounds like she's doing really well now, 2 years after the diagnosis. Tell me a little bit about her, what's she doing in school, any recent accomplishments, all of that.
Well, well, Carrington is 12. She will be going to middle school next year. She just received, what did she get? She got all A's in her class, and she received dojo awards, the highest dojo awards. And what that is just being a good student, being a good classmate. And she's just thriving. She got her braces out of her mouth about 3 weeks ago. So now we're in retainers. We're trying to what's the word? We're trying to get a grasp of that. So
Mhm.
that's a big adjustment.
Yeah, that's a big switch for sure. But it
Yes.
sounds like she's doing great, and straight A's is never anything to be shy about, or you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah, she's
that's
doing good.
fantastic.
Yes.
Um, well, while many with Dandy Walker are diagnosed in utero or shortly after birth, Carrington certainly isn't the only one to get this diagnosis well into childhood or even adulthood for some people. So, do you have any advice or insight for families who might be facing a similar situation and are kind of caught off guard by the initial news?
Just don't give up. And it's hard being caught off guard, but with anything, at least you have a name to what condition or syndrome that your child or even adult may have. And that was just the biggest thing to me, Chris, that it's finally a name to what
Hmm.
she has.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to understand, and now you can kind of do some research on your own and figure out what's
Yes.
going on is definitely huge.
Yes.
Um, well, Antoinette, thank you so much for your insights and for sharing Carrington's story and for all the work that you're doing to raise Dandy Walker awareness in your community and beyond. Um,
Well, thank you.
I know that this story will really be helpful for a lot of families across the country and around the world. So, yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Thank you for having me today, Chris.
Yeah. And for anyone watching, Antoinette is helping us form a Southern chapter of the Dandy Walker Alliance for families across the Southern U.S. to connect and share stories and experiences, work together to raise Dandy Walker awareness in their communities. So if you're in the South and are interested in getting involved and working with Antoinette, send an email to awareness@dandy-walker.org today, and we'll get you started.